Hello viewers. Today we have an Edison Deluxe Comfort Fan. And I'm fortunate enough to have somewhat of the box with this, so I guess you could say this is an unboxing, a re-unboxing, whatever you may want to call. But what I like about the box is it gives you a little more information and it gives you a little bit easier access to things such as the model number. So it's interesting that this is the Comfort Fan, right? Because this is the model that has the fake wood size and everything. So I often wondered if the traditional McGraw-Edison Comfort Fan evolved into this fan, and then this kind of evolved into the Toastmaster fan that eventually died out in the early 90s. Interesting stuff, but as a collector, I like to kind of understand the lineage of how it all came to be and went. So this is model, well, it says 20-inch 3-speed wood grain cabinet. We know that model when we'll look at it. 204026. And I just think, just reading this, being a business person, a marketing person, it's just fun to read these things for me. High impact safety grill. It's true, the grills are a little thicker on this. I do like that it has good quality. Epoxy coated motor and permanently lubricated bearings for a long and reliable life. Well, there's a lot to be said there. They are not permanently lubricated. They are permanently a pain, because we all know that's really why these fans go, aside from people abusing them, is they dry up, they burn out. This fan, I don't believe I have actually oiled myself, but it's a shame because they basically, by doing this, make them disposable, right? And you go buy another one, and they hope that they're in business long enough that you just keep buying them, and they're decent enough quality. They give you some time, and then you move on. What else? Choice of low, medium, high fan speeds. Okay. We have beautiful Pekin wood grain wide box cabinet with almond grill. It's interesting that they say a wide cabinet, because I feel like most fan manufacturers want to hide any width to their cabinet and make them as skinny as possible. So I do like that. And I like the choice words. Computer designed blade for high volume air movement. Really, I think that's just the banana style blades. Although looking at the image, it looks more like the Comfort Fan hub than the banana style blades. Curious about how they use a computer to design the blades. So while it says Edison, down below it says Toastmaster Inc., Second and Vine, Boonville, made in USA. Yeah, we all know that these are out of Boonville, which clearly is nothing. Actually, it would be interesting to know, or maybe to Google Earth, what is there these days, because we know Toastmaster took over, then Toastmaster was acquired. I did all this research a few years ago. Toastmaster was acquired, and I think it was just kind of like a brand name, and then it went away. And I forget if the brand Sunbeam was involved with that as well, but correct me if I'm wrong there. And I try to look here to see if I could get any additional information on this tag. Let's see. SKU 2611, class D37870. Gold circle, whatever that means. CTR number 25050. Is that the same? No, it's different than the model number. Toastmaster 50. Looking for a date code, but I feel like this is mid-80s vintage. On the side, yeah, it really just repeats what's on the front. Although there's a little bit more descriptive here. Beautiful Pekin wood grain cabinet with almond colored grill and coca brown appointments. lifetime. Yeah, and again about the computer. And then on the other side, I guess this is the side that you display. Here it is. I think next to the early 80s and late 70s McGraw-Edison Comfort Fan, this is probably the evolution, as I talked about before, but really the thin and light, kind of like the Toastmasters, all of them are kind of, I think, starting to blend into like really one model with certain variations of colors. And this is what it has become. And these were pretty popular, I would say. Let's get this out. I think I hear the feet in there. So I'm gonna, yeah, I left one foot. I left one foot at the other location, so I only have one foot. So this fan, I acquired, the top is dusty, of course, right? I acquired this fan in 2007, fall of 2007. It was my first eBay box fan purchase. Might have been late summer. And it is, and still is, it's just a little dust inside, but I can feel the wax, because I always wax these cabinets. Pristine condition. You'll note that the knob is no longer there. That broke under my watch. I didn't run this to death. I used it respectively and sparingly. I would use it to move air when the air conditioner was on a little bit. Occasionally I'd pop it in the window. But really it would not get any full-time use because it's just, it's a vintage fan, and I like to enjoy them, of course, but also preserve them. And if this is the evolution of the McGraw-Edison Comfort Fan, because this is definitely wider than the thin and light. And again, this reminds me of the second half of the 80s and early 90s Toastmasters. So the difference being that this still has the metal grill in the back, and of course it has the fake cabinet. One interesting thing to note: we all know the popular Toastmaster models from the early 90s, late 80s have more of the tan cabinet, same cabinet as this but tan. They also made a gray one as well, and then Holmes, I think, acquired them. But I do have a model that is a variation of this. It's actually a Toastmaster branded fake wood, but has the plastic grill in the back. So again, it's just another variation, or maybe that was more of a transitional period from this, going from the metal rear to the plastic with the supports from the motor. So we'll flip it around. And as I talked about in my other videos, I tend to run my fans, the fan has a little dust on it because it's been sitting. I tend to run my fans when I have them in the window, a lot of times on exhaust. And so I am very used to seeing them look like this. And what I like about this is the knob, or where the knob was, is in the middle. On the Comfort fans, the knob is actually off center and it's towards the front of the fan, which is a real pain in the neck when you have it in the window and you're blowing air into the room, because you can't get the window down evenly on the top of the fan. I have no idea why they did that. Maybe later they corrected it and put the knob or the switch in the center, so whether you're using it on exhaust or you're using it on intake to pull the air in, it doesn't matter. This fan is fairly stable. The McGraw-Edison Comfort fans that predate this, they tend to kind of, like when you have them on carpet, lean back, and that's of course because the motor's mounted in a grill. I know people don't like this. Some people don't like this. Some people think it's ugly. some people think, I've heard people say, oh, it's so cheap, they just bolted the fan into the grill, that's the lazy way of doing it. I totally disagree. The fact that they're using metal grill instead of plastic is so much better. You do not have to worry about the yellowing. You do not have to worry about the breaking of the slats. Is it a pain to take off? Yes. Some of these that have been redone, I can always tell when one of these have been redone, because these like rivet bolts or whatever are popped out and replaced with traditional bolts. This has not been redone, it's still original here. But you can still, I have been able to work with them enough where you can pull the blades off, and you can actually, loosen or remove the nuts here and pull the motor off the grill. So I adamantly disagree with that. Now I guess it's just taste, right? I don't think this was a cheap design. I think these motors are powerful. You may have an argument against whether it's the banana style blades or the full whatever you call them, the pedal style blades. You may have an argument there. This same motor is, I have it in a really old metal bladed McGraw-Edison fan, same motor. This same motor is also in the 12-inch version, which looks absolutely ridiculous because it's a giant motor and a small fan. So I'm not trying to say that this is better than the Lakewood, better than the Lasco. I love those fans. I absolutely love Lascos. I absolutely love Lakewoods and own some pretty cool ones as well. I am just partial to these fans because this is really like my earliest memories. Not this one particularly, but if you watched any of my other videos on the McGraw-Edisons, particularly the one with the McGraw-Edison Comfort fans, I have 3 of them in that video. I think I own 6 of those exact models, and possibly every variant except for the Venturi ring version and the infinite speed version, which they're on my hit list. So I am going to plug this in. The reason I stopped using it is because, again, I snapped the knob and I didn't want to use a pair of pliers or even a screwdriver to manipulate the switch. The switch, what happened was the switch started to get really stiff. What I would really like to hear from anybody is if they've had that issue with a switch getting stiff and why. Why does it happen? And it's not metal, it's clearly plastic, so it's not a matter of, I think, like putting WD-40 in there. That I think could be a disaster. It'd be interesting to know, or if it's just parts that wear out, but if anything, I would think it would become looser when you're talking about plastic constantly turning. So I kind of parked this fan until I could eventually, in my parts bin, which I don't have a ton of spare parts, but I do have spare parts, but not a knob for a switch. So I haven't used this in probably 4 or 5 years for that reason. So I can't remember if I left it turned on. So when I go to plug it in, we'll see what happens. Yes, that's what I did. Clearly I left it on low. See, I can't manipulate this. I brought a pair of pliers, but I really don't want to do that and grip this really tight. I think I'd rather take a screwdriver and just turn it, which I didn't grab for the video. So the translucent blades, which I absolutely love. I love translucent blades because I think they look really cool during the day, really cool at night. And the coolest is if you have a box fan with translucent blades in the window and the sun is setting or moving, it glows like a disc when the blades or the fan's on. It is awesome. And I just remember that as a young guy seeing that. It was just really cool for me. So in this case, this is brown to kind of match everything instead of the white. Same thing with the motor. But this thing is in really, really good shape short of the switch. And I would love for your guys' help with that. That would be a big favor. So that's it. This is the Edison Deluxe Comfort Fan with the fake wood grain, which is a model that's been around for a long time and runs well. So please like my video, comment, love to start the discussion. As you guys know, I love these fans, these Edison fans. There are still, I've done a lot of fan videos, so check those out. Subscribe, make sure you don't miss those. And I still have a lot more to do, but as it's getting nice out, we're spending more time in the garage for other projects. And we are going to be doing some of those videos. So we'll just end it with a spin down. Thanks for watching.